Hello everybody, how are you doing? It's your boy, it is SnakeOMartyn, and I am back with another video for you. Today I'm going to be talking about a game that I recently played on stream. Now, as it is horror month, and it is still Spooktober, or Spocktober, as I would like to coin this, but again, not Star Trek, I am going to be talking all about Bloodborne. I love Bloodborne. It is a game that means a lot to me, and every time I've played this game, it always brings new types of stories, new characters that I absolutely adore. In this playthrough, we played as Peggy, the daughter of Jacques, and what a character she became. Peggy, during her time, she had to fight a heck of a lot of bosses. Now, this is the basis of the video, as you probably could already tell from the title. This is my definitive ranking of every Bloodborne boss. This is just the core main game bosses, including the DLC, because the DLC adds an amazing amount. I love it. I love this DLC. There are, I believe, 5 new bosses in this DLC. Are some better than others? Do they rank among the originals? Let's find out. What are the parameters of the rankings? I'm literally going to include everything. So, how they feel to fight, the music, the arenas, the type of boss they are, the way they fight. Are they a wimp? Looking at you, Melash. That's what I'd like to rank these as. This is probably going to annoy some people. Let me know in the comments below what your list is. I would love to know. But for now, let's get on with it. Number 22, the One Reborn. The One Reborn is wrong on all of the levels. I hate this boss. I've never enjoyed fighting this boss. Every time I fought it, I die and I get annoyed. The reason why it's number 22, I hate him. I actually think it's terribly designed. The attacks that it does are really annoying. I think it's a wimp because it uses grannies, like old grandmas, to fight for it. There's literally, the arena's cool, but at the top of the arenas, there's about 6 bell-ringing women. Ding-a-ling, 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 okay? It's too scared to fight for itself, and when it does fight for itself, what does it do? It throws up on you, okay? It throws up. Cheap attacks, cheap boss, and then it summons like bile above your head. I hate this boss. I think it's the worst boss. I think it's one of the worst bosses in the entirety of From Software's incredible library of bosses. This is one of the worst. I hate this boss, and I know you're shocked. It's not Melash. He's not even the next one. Boss 21, the Witch of Hemwick. Why the Witch of Hemwick? Let me tell you. It lies to you. And liars shouldn't be rewarded, okay? Why? Because it's called the Witch of Hemwick, and there's 2 of them. Not Witches of Hemwick, no. Witch. Why are they worse than Melash? Because I know that's what everyone's asking. Because at least Melash shows himself and runs away, right? These things hide, okay? They go invisible, hide on one side of the map, and then summon their little creaturey, I think they're called like weird, I can't remember what they're called, but they're these weird big things, crazy attacks, very strong creatures as well, and they can kill you. The witches are easy to beat, but my goodness, if you get caught with the summons that they do, it will get you. It's completely forgettable. A lot of people forget that this is even a boss and not just a little room that you have to deal with occasionally. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's pretty poor. 20th, Melash. He's a wimp, isn't he? He's a wimp. He comes in, he decides to run away. I mean, he barely wants to fight you, doesn't he? He runs and he goes through his little maze and you have to trap him. He makes you do a lot of work to just kill basically a normal bloke, right? He's just a normal bloke. I liken him to Spider-Man's Mysterio, if anyone remembers him. He's flashy, he's got these, he's all about the magic tricks, and that's it. Once you trap him, he's a wimp, isn't he? But then, he is annoying. I bet a lot of people have died to Melash because he stun locks you, which is a very wimpy tactic, isn't it? Also, he wears a silly hat, doesn't he? There's nothing clever about that hat. Who has a cage as a hat? Who does that? You don't see budgie owners wearing cages on their heads, do you? No. Melash though. That's why you know he's a wrong un. Number 19, the Celestial Emissary. He's a massive blue alien, and he gets all his little followers or his little worshippers to fight for him. The Celestial Emissary is such a lame boss. It's not very memorable. The arena's cool. I think it's got cool music. When I was playing it, that Peggy was just mowing everything down with the hunter's axe was hilarious. And yeah, I think the big thing was quite scared. He was a bit of a wimp. He gets other people to attack for him. He doesn't really do much himself. And that is why he's 19th on this list. I don't really have much to say about the aliens. I think they're a very random part of the game. But I do like them. Number 18, the Living Failures. This is the first boss from the DLC, The Old Hunters. Now, why is this in here? It's pretty simple. I actually feel sorry for them. I feel more sorry for these than I do the other ones. The Living Failures are obviously like experimented alien creatures as well. I feel for them in the same way I felt for the aliens prior with the Celestial Emissary, but these ones I just feel are like the ones that aren't wanted. Like they're not good enough to worship and fight for the big one. So they also look a bit like penises, if I'm honest. They also look very much like penises. However, the reason why these are a bit higher up as well is that these can literally summon meteors, and that is really cool. It also has an amazing boss arena where you fight around the sunflower, and it's just a very cool visual boss. I think it's a very good one. This boss, I don't mind it. I don't think it's bad or anything like that. I just think everything else in the game is better than these ones. But the meteor shower is genuinely cool. Number 17, the Amigdala. 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 Amigdala! I don't know how you say this, but a big boy, a very big boy spider. This is a very cool boss. I think it's optional as well. Very interesting to try and fight one of these. They're everywhere in the game. Once you get to a certain point in the game, you can finally see them unless you get your insight to, I believe, level 40, I'm going to say. Very, very interesting boss design. Basically, a demonic spider, isn't it, really? Like a very weird spider human it's a monster, isn't it? It is a proper monster of a creature. They are invisible as well, which is one of the reasons why I dislike this boss as well. I think they're kind of on the wimpy category. Not afraid to fight for itself though. Not afraid to fight for itself. As a boss, it's just a big monster. I don't feel like it has that kind of amazing moment. It's cool to take one down finally, but it's not something where you think, wow, that is amazing. That boss was so cool. The moves were amazing. I didn't have any of that with this. I thought it was good. It was fine. Like, it was a fine boss, just nothing that blew my mind. Number 16, the Bloodstar Beast. This is hard, okay? This is hard. He's a hard boss. He's hungry, all right? I respect him. I respect him a lot. He poisons you every time he hits and stuff. That is very difficult to deal with, okay? There's been times where I fought this boss and I've died after I've beaten him. Straight away. Run out of antidotes. Dead. Does it count as a win? You're goddamn right it does. But do I feel good about it? No. But when I was Peggy, I did beat him and stayed alive after, so I was very happy with that. Whenever I come across the Bloodstar Beast, I am actually quite scared of it. It's just a creepy boss, isn't it? The character design on him is so weird. Like the fact that he's got this weird, flappy, blood red face. The screams that it makes, the noises, the music of the boss is very, very good. And it has that kind of power-up phase where it does get quite scary. After you've played through a lot of the other games and you come back to this, he is quite easy. I actually found him quite easy. And maybe that is why I didn't find him as intimidating as I have in the past. However, I think this boss is so cool. The arena is amazing. The fact that it's down basically all the way down to like the dead end in that older area is so interesting. And yeah, he's a great boss. Number 15, Ebrietas. Ebrietas? Ibriatiso. I think this one's weird. I think it's kind of lame as well, this one. But I do respect that it's literally the daughter of the cosmos. Like, that's a pretty big deal. It's huge, it's scary looking, the face is split where you can see the kind of mind beneath it. When you go into the room, it's facing away from you and you think, oh my god, this thing is huge. And then when it turns around and the fear like really comes out of you and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to beat this? It is pretty terrifying. The moves are a little bit cheap sometimes, I think. This boss is spectacle and not much else for me. There's a lot of ways to cheese it. I mean, you can basically just get between its legs, I think, or its tail thing, and just hack, which is a nice way to beat the boss. I do think the arena is amazing. It feels like it's locked away, and when you think about what was before it with the Celestial Emissary, and it kind of feels like it's guarding it. That is number 15. I hope that hasn't offended anyone that likes Abatus. But again, I respect you, okay? You're like the daughter of time and space. Number 14, the Shadows of Yarum. This boss is so cool. I don't know why. I feel like this is a genuinely scary boss. They all kind of look a bit Grim Reaper-y. They've got that Dementor look to them. And there's 3 of them. I really like this boss. I think it's very interesting. It really makes you have to think to beat them. I do think it's a bit of a wall for a lot of people. I know when I first played it, it was a heck of a wall for me. I really struggled with this boss. Really struggled with it. But what a insanely cool boss design. And they definitely capitalize on Dementors. They must have. They must have thought, Dementors look pretty cool. Should we make them into a boss? Yeah, go then. Amazing music as well. Such good music. And yeah, a very much big deal when you finally beat them. You really do feel like you've conquered something because, again, one of the only times in the game where you see more than 1 health bar for a boss fight, and that in itself is terrifying. And that is why the Shadow of Yarum are my 14th pick in this list. Number 13, Mergos Wet Nurse. This one is creepy. I feel like it's an evolved form of the Shadows of Yarum, just with way more swords, way more cloaky bits, and just bigger in every single way. There are multiples of them when they kind of go into that weird nightmare world. And when you do go into the dark in some of their attacks, it really does scare you because you don't know how to get through it. It's very difficult to fight in that realm. And yeah, it's hard to find them. For that reason though, a bit wimpy, right? No one is very... I personally think if you turn the lights out, right, you gain a wimp point. Not the best move, but I accept it because it looks like the Grim Reaper, alright? The music is weirdly haunting. I just think it is a very good boss. It is challenging, it is scary, which is exactly what you want from Bloodborne, and ultimately one that is beatable, but you do have to get through some of its bull to beat it. Number 12, Dark Beast Pal, or as I like to say, Dark Beast Pole. I love this boss, I love this design, I love how simple it is. Weird, undead, skeleton beast with electricity. I don't know, when it comes alive from its stumpy corpse-like remains, it's amazing. Because you just don't expect it. You really don't expect it. It's just like the arena isn't amazing. I mean, it's just like a little bit of open ground. It's quite close quarters considering the size of the boss, but it's so creepy. So creepy when you see it come alive, and it almost has this haunting smile through the electricity, like kind of Cheshire Catty. I love it. I think it's such a cool boss. It's not very hard. I love how it attacks. I love how it moves. It's very creepy and it's very strong. It's not a hard boss, or every time I fought it, I've always been quite fortunate against it, really. Anything where you can see that you're going to be getting bolt damage is quite terrifying. Anything where you see lightning is pretty horrible. And yeah, he's like the most lightning-y beastie boy going. So Dark Beast Paul, well done, mate. Big fan of your work. Big fan. Number 11, the Cleric Beast. The first boss pretty much everyone fights in the game is so cool. Doesn't have a cutscene, just jumps over a wall. You're in. It's such an amazing boss, and I think it's really well made in the sense of showing you weakness and where to stick to. Because one arm's huge, one arm's small, it kind of shows you that it's got a weakness very early on, and I think it really helps educate the player. The music, oh my god, chef's kiss. I think the location is amazing. On that bridge area, lots of kind of dead carriages, broken down. I love it. A bit scary to fight there though, because you can get stuck on things. But ultimately, one of the best bosses going. I think it's so good. It's completely fair. I think it is. It's not a wimp at all. It goes for you. Hungry little beastie boy. And yeah, when you take that thing down and you're, what, this big compared to it, it feels amazing. It feels like you've genuinely conquered King Kong himself. Cleric Beast, top tier boss. Number 10, Vicor Amelia. I think she has a wonderful dress on, and I think we need to comment on it. Beautiful. The veil, the white kind of robes that they're wearing is so cool. I think the build up to the fight is amazing. The cutscene, because it's basically everything that the Cleric Beast does, just better. I genuinely think that. The music, I'm pretty sure, is almost exactly the same. You see the transformation really go for it. The fact that she's clutching the gold, I think it's a brooch, the gold amulet thing, brilliant. I just think it shows that, you know, she's got a weakness on one side. It helps the player. The location, the cathedral, is so good. It's so good. And it's also a pivotal point in the game, story-wise too. And I think it is just so well done. So well done. Again, you feel like a badass for beating it. And yeah, I think that boss is so cool. So cool. It feels a bit sad though. I feel like I've just crashed a wedding. I know I haven't, but still, I feel bad about it. Like, that beast will probably be marrying people next week. Do you know what I mean? Once this night is over. But unfortunately, I've knocked on the door, haven't I? I've knocked on. I love it. I love that boss. And honestly, that music is something else. It is so good. Loved it. Number 9, Rom. I love this boss. I think it is haunting, yet beautiful. A mother of some spidery things. Creepy as hell. So creepy. The design is so bizarre on it. Absolutely weird as hell. The fact that it's got all the little creepy crawlies near it as well is blimmin' horrible. I genuinely dislike this boss to look at. The attacks that it does, very kind of otherworldly, summoning big projectiles at you is obviously very tricky. It also has some crazy area of effect attacks, and it does keep you on your toes. I think it's a very pivotal moment in the game. Story-wise, it's super cool. You see the old guy in the kind of rocking chair, just chilling. Points, jump in, pal. See what happens. You jump in. The arena is so beautiful. It's incredible. I feel like it's very Berserk inspired, that whole bit. I don't know if it is or not, but it feels very Berserk inspired. I just love it. I really love this boss. I just think the music is great. Everything is so well done. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Love Rom. Number 8, Martyr Ligarius, or as I like to call him, his name's Martin. Marty Ligarius. I think this boy is insanely cool. Castle Canehurst's main only boss, actually. How you have to go through such a long area to get to him. Finally, where'd you fight him? On the roof? On the bloody roof. It's so cool. And he is basically the king of the castle and you're the dirty rascal. He's so intimidating looking. He's got his big old scythe, he's got his sword, he's ready to take you down, and it feels big. It feels like a big fight feel. He's got some crazy, like, summon the undead with his skull summoning attacks. I just think he's an amazing villain to try and beat. I think the music here is fantastic as well. He's a massive curve, I think, difficulty curve for a lot of people. I know when I first played him, I could barely beat him. I think it took me ages. This time, first timed him. Don't know how. Don't ask. And the best thing I think about this boss as well is the game knows how hard it is, because when you beat him, you literally get his crown. And for that alone, like, it could be top boss. Like, this could literally be #1 boss on some people's list. I think he's so cool. And yeah, a brilliant boss. And he's optional. Like, I bet a lot of people have completely missed him. So, number 8 in this day, Martyr Ligarius. I love you, mate. Number 7, Lawrence the First Vicar. Now, when you think about the Cleric Beast, and you think about Vicor Amelia, and you think about what came before, yes, of course, it was Lawrence, wasn't it? Lawrence is like everything that was before, but essentially on fire. Literally on fire. And when you fight him, you feel bad. I know I felt bad. Quite literally start to dismember the guy, and he starts kind of ripping himself to pieces. And by the end of it, you're basically shanking a giant beast that's missing its like lower half and dragging himself across the floor. Pooping fire as we speak. Axel wants to come and say hello, I think. And yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. It's a terrifying boss. Wow. I guess I'll continue with the cat there. Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. He is so strong. His attacks are really, really brutal and very difficult to dodge. And once you start taking him out and he starts pooing magma everywhere, it gets to be a really tricky fight to navigate, but a very, very good one. I really enjoy this fight, and that is why Lawrence the First Vicar is number 7. Number 6, Father Gascoigne, Papa G. This boss teaches you how to play the game. It completely does. It teaches you about visceral attacks. It teaches you about everything. And it is so, so badass. That damn smile. He starts off and he's just a man. He's just a normal man. He's just a hunter. But he's hard. And then, what's he do? Then he decides to ruin your day, doesn't he? He decides to absolutely ruin your day. And what does he do? Makes one of the greatest second phase bosses of all time. I think it's one of the best phases of any game going. I love it. It's such an amazing boss. The story behind the boss, the fact that you speak to the little girl in the window, the fact that you can play a music box to distract him. There is so much to this fight. There's so much lore, there's so much story. I just think it's so rich with that. And I love it. I love this boss fight. This could be top 5 easily. It was so hard to put him here, but the next few bosses are just a smidge better, I think. Did you go back and tell the girl? That's the question of the day. Did you go back and tell the little girl about what happened to her daddy? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5, Moon Presence. The Moon Presence is an amazing boss. Essentially, it's this game's xenomorph, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's the alien from Aliens come to make you into a kebab. I do think that it is one of the coolest fights ever, I'm going to say. You can only beat it after beating the final boss of the game for some people. And if you don't beat it there, what happens? You don't fight him. It's completely optional, this boss. You make sure that you've eaten your 3 umbilical cords, and then it's yours. It basically gets born from the moon. It's so badass. Like, it is so badass. Some of the attacks, I mean, you are literally fighting a god. He is so scary. He's so whippy. I feel like he's got some whippy area attacks. He's got some crazy moves. And I just think he is incredible to fight. One of my favourite bosses. The music's amazing. Also, I was thinking, is it a bit wimpy? It has an attack where it basically takes you down to like 1 HP. But I think that's just the boss being kind. I think it could kill you, but it wants to toy with you a little bit first. I think the Moon Presence has got a cat-like persona in him. Like, he wants to play with his food before he eats it. Yeah, for that reason, it's number 5. Number 4, Ludwig the Holy Blade. What a boss this is. I mean, it's so demented and cursed looking, but what a fight. You get to fight in the kind of old area of what seems to be kind of like a church or a battered building anyway. And I just felt I just felt really sorry for him. I felt really sorry for him. The fact that his kind of jaw is hanging off a little bit. It's like a horse, but it's not a horse. It's got like this weird mouth growth going on here. And I just felt for him. And when you get him to half health and it just calls out to the Moonlight Sword, picks it up and is ready to absolutely obliterate you in the DLC, is one of my favourite things going. I think it is an incredible boss. There is nothing quite like seeing him pick that sword up. Honestly, it is incredible. Top tier, one of the scariest bosses I think I've ever fought. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And beating him on my first attempt this time, chef's kiss. Peggy, man, she's so hard. Number 3, Gamman, the first hunter. Gamman, the hardest bast going. I absolutely love this boss. I think he's fantastic. I think it is the greatest thing going in the sense of everything you've learned you need to beat him. Everything. You need to be good at viscerals, you need to be good at general attacks. He's hard, he's got 2 fight styles, he's got 2 trick weapons basically. The scythe, his sword, it's just brilliant. It's so exciting. The scene fighting in the Hunter's Dream is just insane. It's beautiful. Like amongst the flowers, the music, everything. He basically can turn Super Saiyan Gamman, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan. Unbelievable. Honestly, he is such a scary, intimidating boss. His moves are crazy. Like, he does some crazy sized moves. And it's just so difficult. So hard to beat him. But if you can, that feeling, man. That feeling. And then knowing that the Moon Presence is just after him, or when you fight him for the first time, oh my goodness. What a terrifying thing that is. And you have to fight him again then if you die against the Moon Presence. Horrific. Horrifically hard. Horrifically mean. I love this game. Number 2, Lady Maria. Oh, what a fight. What a fight this is. But the reason why I went for her, again, I mean, she's very similar to Gamman, right? Like, she is an incredibly cool boss. The story behind her is super cool. The story that, you know, she's just been essentially waiting for you. And when you arrive, oh my gosh, terrifying. I think she's probably stronger than Gamman in the sense of just her moves, how strong she is. The arena is amazing again. The music is amazing. Her moves, though, are so insane. She fights with a dual sword, dual katana type things. And when she powers up, and this is kind of the reason why I wanted her to be above Gamman. When she powers up, she literally stabs herself with her katanas and then covers them in her own blood, elongating the katanas and making them more deadly. And then she has that bloody attacks to use as insane, like almost like Ludwig's Holy Blade type attacks. I just think it's mesmerizingly badass. Absolutely terrifying. The way she deals with you when you walk in that room is terrifying. Like, genuinely terrifying. And she's a hard boss. If you think Gamman was hard, I think she's harder in every way. I think she's much harder. She has about 3 phases, and goodness me, she gets so strong in them. So strong, and she is so fast. So fast. You can't even see her move half the time. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant boss. Number 1, the Orphan of Kos. He is an absolute machine. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying boss. I am absolutely terrified of the Orphan of Kos. Genuinely terrified. I think he is so scary. I think his screams pierce you. He's the hardest boss. By a long shot, he is the hardest boss. He's so horrible. He's so horrible to look at. The fact that he literally claws out of his dead god-mam thing on the beach, looks out at the moon, screams, and then what's he use as a weapon? He uses a shrimp. A shrimp as a weapon, which is badass if I'm honest with you. But what actually is the shrimp? Let me tell you, it's his fetus. That's right, his fetus. He uses his fetus as a weapon. I don't think you could get more badass than that. Watch him. It's just disgusting in every way. The fact that you fight on the coastline is insane. It's so beautiful. He summons lightning. He's so scary. He's the main boss of the DLC and absolutely unholy in every single way. And let me tell you, when I first fought him, I think I must have died to him about 100 times. When I fought him as Peggy, I beat him in about 18 attempts. And I got lucky. I think you get lucky against him. I don't think you can be just good at this boss. I think you need a bit of lady luck on your side, because without it, you will die. And he will beat you. He has a second phase as well. Once you think, he's already solid, yep, he gets stronger. And then he gets meaner and meaner, and his moves get obscene. I love this boss. I think it is the best boss of the game. I think it is one of the best bosses of all Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro, everything. I think he's one of the best and one of the hardest. I don't think there is a harder boss before Elden Ring. I think he was maybe the hardest boss going. He is truly monstrous. And I think that is what Bloodborne is all about. I love it. I bloody love it. But that is the definitive list of Bloodborne bosses. This is my list, as I said. I hope I haven't offended anyone. I hope I haven't made people go, is this guy crazy? I mean, if I did, just let me know in the comments. But please, tell me your order of the bosses. It's so hard to do. Honestly, there are so many amazing bosses in this game. I love it. I really love it. And everything about this exudes horror. It is fantastic. I wish we had a remake, a remaster, a sequel, anything. Get this game a sequel, please. I would love to see a sequel. This game needs to be played. Don't fear it because it's 30 FPS. It's absolutely fine. It's a third-person game. It doesn't need 60. It's fine. It would be nice, but it doesn't need it. Play it. Please play this game and reward yourself with one of the greatest games of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're new here, hit the comment and let me know your order. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again for the next one. Take care and toodaloo.